Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. I've got a few short games, short clips to show you for this post. Not standard games and stuff, just short clips. And in this game, it's on Kosovo, a 1v1 map. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine. I'm setting up as normal down here, but my opponent is going for a different kind of build, and he's ordered his MCV into a close base push position. But the standard procedure I have for the start of the game is just going to happen to reveal exactly where that is. So his point of view is this. He's been spotted straight away and he should know this. So yeah, he's run my guy over, but now he knows that I know where he is. Now this is all he's got. So he knows there's an engineer chasing him. He knows this. So he can't stop and he can't set it up. So I'm moving away with my engineer and moving some units in. But now he's set it up, I can bring the engineer back. And before he can build anything, I've got to capture. Now, he can't sell that. He can't build anything. He hasn't got anything. So after 1 minute, 20 seconds, he's gone. He's gone now. So that was his attempt at like a special, unique base push, I guess. So there you go. There's the first game. And there is no real point checking the army graph or anything.
Battle control.
So thanks for watching that one. But we'll go to... We had a rematch, and I've got a spectator for this one, not a decent player. I'm using Russia, and my opponent's using England. And we're on the same map, and I'm setting up using this. But I thought, well, why not have a rematch if they're up for one, and, you know, just give them another go at it. But they decided to do another, you know, another weird build. So here we go for the second round. And while, you know, I'm doing a streamlined production build order that I've copied from good players that is going to get me a decent force as quickly as possible. And this guy's going up here. So the thing is, for things like this, obviously you wouldn't do it to this extreme. If you wanted to move your base and you move your MCV and you had a good reason and an effective strategy for, you know, to do so, then to move it, to make it worth moving, then that's why you send rifles to check your enemy base. I recommend sending one rifle either side, if you see no presence from your enemy especially. But, you know, if you're contesting oil derricks, you're taking oil derricks, and your opponent isn't showing any presence, there's a reason for that. It's either because he's going to hit you with an early game attack, or he's gone War Factory first build and he only has 4 rifles, or he's doing something weird, like this. So that's why you send a couple of rifles, send one either side of his base, and I even send them on move command at the start of the game. Once they get close to the base, walk them through the base so they don't shoot at ore trucks and reveal their presence straight away. You know, just, that's why, you know, it's only a couple of rifles. If they die, big deal. But your primary reason is for getting some scout information early on. So I would know that there's nothing here if I'd have sent a couple of rifles. I'd know that by now. You know? But I've seen, when I go this route, you often don't see enemy presence on this route. Sometimes they have taken this oil, or if I'm starting here, sometimes they've taken this one. But I often don't see an enemy presence because they've taken that and moved on to the central one. So this is nothing strange. It's just, I know I'm against the same player and he had a weird build. So, you know, there we go. I knew there was something up. But I always like to leave a soldier around here, a rifle guard around these oil derricks, because if an enemy engineer wants to try and recapture it, your rifles can snipe them from outside the enemy view range. These are very useful early on because the view range you get from an oil derrick allows you to position infantry behind the oil derrick, say, from the most likely direction of the enemy approach, and then you've got all this view range ahead and the enemy can't see you. So if the enemy are here, you can kill them and they can't shoot you back if you're here. because your riflemen and nearly all units can shoot further than they can see. So if you reveal terrain ahead of them, they can shoot them. But using their own normal view range, they can't. They can shoot further than they can see. So you need a unit to reveal more distance for them. And that's what these oil derricks can do for you early. But you don't build this many rocket troops, they're worth 300 each. And he's got no rifles, so there's no reason. Anything you do build that goes against the standard build order, make sure you make good use of it, because it's going to detract from something. You know, this build order that I've copied, it exists like this for a reason. And it's because it's a good way of getting an all-round decent force available early and expanding early. If you're deviating, I've said it before in guides and in other videos, if you deviate from that, then you need to have a good reason and you need to take good advantage of it. This is just a load of rocket troops that 10 riflemen can kill. You know, I can kill that for 1,000. And what, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, there's 10 there, so there's 3,000 worth of men. I could probably kill it with 5 riflemen anyway. But yeah, now I've realised there's nothing here. I checked, doing this, I probably checked earlier than I would have done, just because I was aware of the opponent and what they did in the last game. And the fact that I've seen nothing as well from them. That's why I'm sending rifles up here, look, in case he's literally next to my base. But they've got 1 ore truck, so it doesn't really matter what you do, what you build. 2 ore trucks at this point, you've lost. I'd have to make some serious mistakes in order for them to win now. I'd have to make some serious mistakes. I'd have to line my units up on hold fire for ages and let him kill them, because those rocket troops aren't killing anything. I shouldn't have let it go on this long. Here we go. He's got my first heavy tank. That was like the perfect unit. But now, once it's infantry against him, that's it. These guys aren't going to kill anything. And this is it. He's got no money, and what's he going to do when he does get money? You know, the ore trucks have run out of cash. I've got thieves and engineers going into that vehicle. Yeah, if you send your APC up to the enemy refinery, it gets them there quickly and gives them less chance to sell up, so that then you can infiltrate. Normally there wouldn't be that many ore trucks just sat idle around it to crush you. You'd have 1 or 2, but you know, this isn't a usual case, but using an APC like that is always the best way. And then while you're in combat, keep placing barracks and base defences ahead of your units like this. Because the enemy, look, they're shooting that. That's completely useless. Shooting this and this is useless, whereas my men can go to work. You know, so just keep placing barracks and base defences in front of your units like that in combat. And you should do it quicker than I've been doing it, just more and more, and keep doing it. Place loads of them, barracks and power plants and base defences in the enemy's face, just keep doing it. But yeah, there you go, there's that one. I'm probably going to get an engineer or something on that. I don't know why I bothered. Yeah, my the spectator put G, yeah, and that was the second one. If he'd have seen the first one as well, it would have been different. But yeah, there's that game. And yet again, it's there's no point looking at the army graph and stuff. But there's a third game here, and I've just discovered this map not long ago. In fact, not long at all, a week or so, I don't know. But I happen to like the look of it. This one, Ridges it's called, and it's Balance Iteration 3.4, and it's 1v1 map, Ridges. And the spectator decided to jump in and spam a horrible, like, insult, an offensive word about 100 times and then left. And then this, my opponent joined my game, and then the guy who just spammed an offensive word came back as a spectator. And I didn't... Oh, you go, look, you can see. There you go. Anyone who wants to watch it on... There you go, look. You know, look at that. That's what he decided to spam when I wanted a game on Red Alert. So we come here to have a laugh and that, have fun. And that... I mean, when he came back, I was talking about the map and that to my opponent, and I just put it's okay, and he just carries on talking a load of nonsense, and I put all of it, it's okay, no harm done, and all that, and then I started the game because what's the point? But it's like, it's weird. I wouldn't want to, you know, for that to go through your head and think that it's a good idea. I wouldn't want to be in their place, sadly. But like I say, there's no harm done, so whatever. But I ran this game because we've got an early attack, and this one shows a good example of how to deal with a mass attack early on, because they do hit me with a decent force of infantry, and they're all in here, look. You know, they've committed, so, which I don't agree with this kind of tactic, because if it doesn't work, you've lost. So I don't agree with it. And at the start, you don't need many assets to stop the enemy attack. Even with all these infantry, look, he's got some rocket troops, it won't matter, because a quarter of the amount can hold them off and kill them, because I've got the view range from the buildings. He just won't stand a chance. And I don't know this is coming because the rifles I've positioned here and there, look, I have placed my rifle guards, but they're not in the right place. So this hits me, and I'm unawares, but I've just built that, look, but I've got my harvester out of the way, my all truck, but here we go. And that's it, you see, I'm using the view range of my buildings, and I've got base defences. He hasn't got enough rockets to do any damage, so that's that. If we look at the combat tab, you know, I've lost 7 men. He's gone now. He's decided that's it, because when that fails, you have lost. It's an overcommitment tactic. It's just, you know, if you fail, you need a contingency plan. You need to be able to fall back and trade time for space. But when you do this, there's nothing you can do. It's all in. And he's even sold the rest of it. He's sold his construction yard and that. That's literally burning your bridges behind you. So yeah, it was a very ineffective composition, sadly, but it was a good attempt. He might have hit me from my power plants and barracks first and really done a number, or he may have hit me in the field because he had a larger force. So look at that, he had a far larger force. He could have hit me at minute 3 in the field while I was messing around with oil derricks and overrun me. And then what would I have done? Because I had the war factory placed as he arrived. So I wouldn't have been able to build that in time. So in a way I was kind of lucky, but his strategy was too high risk. It's like a very early base push. That goes really close to your base. It is good and it's powerful, like a player called World Peace used to use that, started to use that against me. They didn't used to, they had different tactics, but he ended up all of a sudden, he improved in skill level, yeah, but he dropped 1 or 2 tactical traits, like he used to hunt enemy engineers very effectively at the start of the game. It was a nightmare. You'd have to escort your engineer that carefully that it distracted you, and was a very good tactic to use. But he stopped doing that and he ended up doing base push. But base push, he did it in a good way excuse me, because he got competent at it. So he was doing a base push effectively and getting practiced at it. So it was a pain to stop when a base push is done well. but it's high risk, it's all in. He's at that much of a disadvantage if it doesn't work that it's game over. So I don't agree with that early aggressive base push tactic, although it is very difficult to stop. But for this one, yeah, you saw the early attack and how to stop it. You just keep your units inside your building's view range. Look, for my view range is this look with my structures. So if the enemy are here, they can't see my infantry, obviously. The enemy could be here and they can't see in there. You need vehicles to match out the enemy's view range if you're attacking into a base, because the tanks match their structure's view range and allow your infantry to fight on equal terms. But at that point he had none of that. He had no vehicles. So it was, you can't attack without vehicles like that. If you do, it's a little Gren drop with a few units very early. You don't give them time to build things and base defences and build up a force, because, you know, early on it's just so easy to defend. You know, tactics like that are a liability, sadly. But it could have worked, but, you know, I wouldn't do that I wouldn't practice that, because without vehicles, a base attack is, you know, at that point in the game, it's too late. A base attack is no good. You know, he did what he did, you know, and he sold everything and attacked. So it just didn't work. But those high-risk tactics I don't like. But you see, that example, just keep your units inside your base early on if you have to fight any kind of substantial force. Let them shoot a building or two and do a lot of damage. Just keep your units back until you find that sweet spot and let them gun them down, and screen your men with base defences until you get vehicles. But yeah, and don't do this. And even if you're good at the base push tactics early, I don't agree with the aggressive early base push that's close. Base push through the middle of the map and keep a solid position as you go, but not an early next to your enemy base push like some players do. It's too high risk, and yes, it's hard to stop, but the enemy has the advantage. To be fair, they've got the defender's advantage and they've got all the assets you've got. So, you know, it is a pain to stop. If you find your enemy building base defences and creeping with structures into your base, because he's brought his second MCV to base push you, for example, then build a wall section, a concrete wall section, and place them in front of his base defences. So say he places his MCV, then he places a barracks here, then he places a turret, place a concrete wall section in front of it, and the turret will hit that and allow you to fire over the wall with rockets and kill it or something, you know. So when they start base pushing you, use concrete wall sections to stop them and interrupt them and block base defences and things. Anything to make them regret using an aggressive base push, because that's the key, make them regret doing it. But I best not go on. It was supposed to be a really short video with a few short games, but it's a partially entertaining one. But there you go for now, and thank you very much for viewing, everyone. I hope it was a laugh, and until next time, take care all.
Battle control terminated.